You probably stream music every day, but do you remember how many lines Spotify has? It's this one, with 3 lines. Which logo is the correct one here? Yes, the one over there. Are you a coffee fan? This one's for you. Which logo is correct? This one, of course. Now, how about Domino's Pizza? Which logo is correct? That's the one. If you watch TV, you must know the correct NBC logo. It's your chance to shine. Here it is. I know it was hard. I didn't get it right myself. Ice cream people, this one's for you. What's the correct Baskin-Robbins logo? It's this one. Blue, pink, pink, blue. Do you have a MasterCard credit card? Then you should know this logo. But red and yellow, or yellow and red? Yeah, this is the one, red and yellow. That's a fancy brand, but you've probably seen it around a lot. So what's your call? It's this one. Are you a Mac person or a Microsoft person? Which logo is the right one? Uh-oh, it's way harder than it seems, but the correct logo is this one. Coca-Cola is the most consumed drink in the US. The second place goes to Diet Coke. So, which logo is correct? It was easy, right? Of course. This one. The third most consumed soda drink? Pepsi. So find the right logo. This is the one. Take a closer look at these images and find the correct old-school Disney castle. It's this one. If you got it right, I bet you've seen a lot of Disney movies. Subway is the 6th most profitable fast food chain. The first one is, of course, McDonald's. Can you guess the correct Subway logo? Yeah, it's this one. LG with a dot or without? Yeah, of course the logo has a dot. Can you find the correct Sprite logo? Here it is. Great job. Are you a gamer? If so, you're bound to crack this one. If not, well, try your best. Yep, did you get it right? What's the correct Discord logo? Yeah, it's this one. No antenna. It's not Reddit. What's the correct house arrangement on the Hogwarts coat of arms? Only true Potterheads will know. It's this one. Did you get it right? Another question for gamers. What's the correct PlayStation logo? It's this one. Great job! Especially if you have no clue about gaming. Wikipedia saved you a gazillion times, but did you pay enough attention to find the correct logo? Yes, that's the one with the capital A. Do you know the logo of the Disney Channel? Here it is. Ralph Lauren's logo. What's your guess? It's this one. Next up, Nescafe. What's the correct logo? It's this one. Hot Wheels. It's the best-selling toy brand in the world. It made even more money than Lego or Barbie. I bet you have a few of them. Can you spot the correct logo? It's this one. New Balance. Left or right? It's the left one. Formula One is a racing world championship that originated in Europe in the 1920s and is now held around the world. Find the correct logo now. Here it is. The day Paul Van Doren opened his first van store, he didn't have enough change, so he allowed his 12 customers to go home with the shoes and asked them to come the next day to pay. Every single one came back to pay. Which logo is correct? Here it is. Did you know that Sour Patch Kids were only invented in the early 1970s? Anyway, you love them, but do you know the logo well? It's this one. What's the correct Assassin's Creed logo? Here it is. If you're about to buy a Tesla, there are two options. Which one is real and which one is fake? Yes, of course it's this one. What's the correct Hallmark Channel logo? This one, right? Starlink is SpaceX's satellite internet constellation. What's the correct logo? It's this one. Hardcore flashbacks. Sesame Street has been running since 1969, so it's been around since even your parents were little. We know it all too well. What's the correct logo? It's this one, of course. What's the correct Calvin Klein logo? It's this one here. That's a fancy car brand you don't see often, but it's famous. So what's the correct logo? This one here. I know, switching colors is a hard game, but it's one of the most popular channels. So just trust your instincts. Yes, this one right here, you got it. What's the correct Mazda to buy? Yes, it's this one. What's the correct logo of Beats? This one right here. Did you know that Mountain Dew is produced by the same company that has Pepsi? Anyway, the question remains, which logo is the correct one? It's this one. Do you know what the correct Armani logo is? It's this one. You see it all the time on your pens, but you probably never paid attention. What's the correct logo? It's this one. UPS, left or right? It's the right one. Amnesty International is a global movement for human rights. What's the correct logo? It's this one here. Can you find the correct logo? Yeah, it's right here. The ancient Olympic Games were staged in Olympia, but the first modern ones were held in 1896 in Athens, Greece. This one's tough. What's the correct logo? This is the one. The Voice, left or right? What do you say? It's the right one. Snickers is the best-selling candy bar in the world. What's the correct logo? This one here. eBay often helps you out, but can you find its correct logo? Yeah, it's right here. What do you say about this one? 7-Eleven? Here it is, of course. Paramount gave us so many cool movies, and you've seen their logo hundreds of times. Not for too long, though. Was it enough for you to spot the correct one? This is the one. There's just one mountain. Can you find the correct Puma logo? That's the one. What about Adobe? Can you spot it? It's right here. Here comes a trickier one. What do you gotta say? Gotcha. It's this one. Whether you're a FIFA kind of person or the Sims kind of person, you sure have something to thank Electronic Arts for. What's the correct logo, by the way? This is the one. Skoda is a Czech company, and at first they were producing bikes. Now they make cars as well. What's the correct logo? Here it is. Shazam helped you find that cool song so many times, but do you remember their logo? Here it is. Here comes your language study buddy, Duolingo. What's the correct logo here? It's this one. Google Drive is up next. You use it all the time. Just trust your gut. That's the one! Can you spot the correct flicker logo? Here it is. Hasbro was founded in Rhode Island by three brothers in 1923. At first, they were selling textile remnants. Now, they sell toys and games. What's the correct logo? It's this one. Your Uber is here. Make sure to pick the right one. Here it is. The game is getting wild. Sorry. If you don't know, just try to guess. This is the one. Even if you're not a hardcore Minecraft player, you must know because it's just too popular. Can you find the right logo? It's this one. What's the correct NBC logo? Yeah, it's the one on the right. What about Levi's? This is the one. What's the logo of The Incredibles? Yeah, from that cool Pixar movie. What's the correct logo? This one. You're my hero. What about the logo of Captain America? Which one is correct? Yeah, this is the one. Okay, the last one for today. Show me the true Pandora. Yes, here it is. Great job. Unfortunately, I'm more of a tea person, but what about you, coffee lovers? I knew it was this one. So how often do you visit Taco Bell restaurants? Let's see. The correct logo is on the left. What's your favorite web browser? If it's Chrome, you won't have any problems finding the correct logo, right? Well, hope you got it right. Let's play with colors, shall we? What's the correct little logo? Most of the letters of its name are blue, with only the I being red. Now I think you simply can't get the McDonald's logo wrong. Yep, it's the one with its middle part not touching the ground. One of these logos seems off to me. Which one? And the correct logo is the one on the right. Can you recognize the correct Wendy's logo? That was kinda tricky, but I picked the left one, and my guess was correct. Something's off with one of these logos, but you'll have to puzzle it out on your own. Yep, Citron has 2, not 3 upward-facing arrows on its logo. I guess I need to do my laundry more often. This way, I'd know the correct logo for this washing powder. Green at the top, red at the bottom. Got it. Another producer of yummy stuff, but which logo is correct? One trip to the kitchen and I found out that the logo on the right is the one Cadbury uses. How often do you go to Aldi? Let's check. The correct logo is the one on the left. It's all about colors and donuts. The correct logo of Dunkin' Donuts is on the left. Do you like creating and sharing short videos? Then you must know which TikTok logo is the right one. Did you pick the one on the left? Then you totally nailed it. I use this messenger often enough to know the correct logo. And you? No, really? I was sure it was the one on the left. Can you figure out which one is the correct NASA logo? I see. No yellow. Got it. I'm sure this one is going to be a piece of cake for you. Which Mercedes logo is correct? This one. Good job. Do you know what the Rolex logo looks like? This crown is the one we need. One of the most popular drinks all over the world. But which logo is right? The one on the left. How often do you eat burgers? Let's find out. It seems I should treat myself to burgers more often. Another tricky question for coffee fans. Which Starbucks logo looks real? It's the one on the left. Now the Lacoste logo. Which crocodile belongs here? Right, the crocodile on the left looks too spiky to decorate your polo shirt. The next task is really tough. Which is the correct PayPal logo? Look, the first part of the word is darker than the second. KFC and its logo. Do you remember which is the one? It's the logo on the left. Look at the apron and the stripes on it. Hey, what's going on? This test is getting harder and harder. The correct logo is the one on the left. If you've ever rented an apartment on Airbnb, you probably know the company logo, right? The logo on the left is the correct one. How about another car manufacturer? The correct Honda logo is on the left. Social media fans, use your superpowers. Who would have thought? I'm definitely not an Insta person. A tiny twittering bird, but which one is on the Twitter logo? Yep, the one on the left is too fluffy. I've been to Subway hundreds of times, never knew their logo could be so confusing. The correct logo is the one on the right. I mean, they're both colorful and look like a real thing. I cheated by Googling the Google logo. Ha ha ha. I'm sure you'll solve this one hands down. And of course, the real Adidas logo is on the left. Wait, are they even different? Ah, it's all about the antenna. The one on the left is the correct Android logo. Nutella, the world's most beloved hazelnut spread. Do you recognize its real logo? Of course it's the one on the right. Ah, this is a tough one. Gotta go and check. Does it count as cheating? So, Puma's cat is jumping to the left. Good to know. Looks very familiar, but what exactly is it? It's Sprite. It's the 5th best-selling soft drink on the market. This one is way harder to recognize, so I'll give you a hint. It's a soft drink too. Yeah, right. It's Dr. Pepper. It's the 6th best-selling drink, going right after Sprite. Another way to spend a great evening. What is this company? It's DreamWorks. What about this purple logo? It's Yahoo. I don't think there's a person out there who doesn't know what this is. It's Hogwarts logo, the school of witchcraft and wizardry from the Harry Potter universe. Back to our non-magical world. What's this company? It's Amazon. The company started out in 1995 as a garage bookstore, by the way. Do you know what this is? It's the PlayStation logo. Does this one ring a bell? It definitely should. It's Monopoly. Also, for some reason, this game has thousands of special editions. Huh? What's that song? Ask Shazam. Even if you're not a gamer, you can probably recognize this. It's The Sims, a life simulator game that was a real hit in the 2000s. It's a new logo, but I think you must know it by now. It's Meta. It's the new name of Facebook Incorporated. They own Instagram and WhatsApp too. Not as popular as Facebook, but you might know this app, or ask someone from Gen Z. It's Discord, a messenger. Originally, it was used by gamers, but now there's more users building their communities of interests. Okay, what's this? Yeah, I'm back to car brands again. This is Ferrari. Can you recognize this sign and to whom it belongs? It's Wonder Woman. If you're a traveler, you know it all too well. It's Airbnb, an online marketplace for lodging. It's a bit old school, but still everyone's favorite. That's Discovery Channel. It's pretty hard, but you know it very well, I'm sure. It's Walmart. What do these two letters stand for? It's Baskin-Robbins, a worldwide ice cream brand. Even without the name, it's still recognizable. So, what do you say? It's Doritos. A tricky one. I'll give you a little hint. It has to do with clothes. It's Jack Wolfskin, a German manufacturer of quality outdoor clothes. Not so mainstream, but you've seen it a million times. That's Nestle. You must love all things luxury if you have one of those. That's Rolex, a Swiss watch designer. Can you recognize this logo? That's Tommy Hilfiger, an American clothing brand. What about this one? It might seem hard, but I'm sure you'll know it. That's Nintendo Switch. What does this O stand for? This is Opera, a web browser. For fellow oldies, this brings back so many memories. It's ICQ, and if you're from Gen Z, it's a messenger. That's what we used in the olden dinosaur days before Discord, or even WhatsApp was invented. What is this panda bear? World Wildlife Fund. or WWF. That's an international non-governmental organization working on preserving wildlife. You should know it well if you travel a lot. Toblerone, known by many as the airport chocolate. Do you know what this company is? It's the logo of the World Health Organization. Driving through the country to visit their family. One day, late at night, they were on a lonely country road. That's when a powerful storm broke, and their car tire burst. They had to leave the vehicle to find help, but there was nothing, and no one around. Sometime later, they came across an old and spooky mansion that seemed abandoned, but the guys decided to try and see if anyone lived there and could help them. They arrived at the mansion gate. On a metal address plaque, it was written, "The House of Riddles." Gemma and Andy got suspicious, but they desperately needed shelter from the storm and some help with their car. So they decided to enter. But the gate was locked. There was a digital security keypad on it and nothing else. Suddenly, they heard a sound coming from the gate intercom. A voice said,
"The answer to this riddle of mine is the password you need to unlock the gate. I sleep by day and fly at night, but I have no feathers to aid my flight. What am I?"
That's a bat. When the guys arrived at the door, they saw there was something engraved on it. "Stop right there, wanderer. Don't knock on the door just yet. For if you knock more or fewer times than you should, that you're gonna regret. Here's your second riddle. I am an odd number, but I become even if you take away a letter. What am I?" Gemma and Andy realized that the number equaled the number of times they had to knock on the door for it to open. Can you help them figure out the correct number? The answer is 7, so they had to knock on the door 7 times. A scary old butler opened the door and let the guys in. The door suddenly closed behind their backs and then just vanished into thin air. There were no doors in the room they had entered. The butler said, "Welcome, mortals, to your doom. To make it out of this house, you have to solve every riddle in every room. If you can't, you'll stay in this place forever. Here's your riddle for this room. Which bride is marrying this groom?" If they managed to figure out the answer, a door would appear. If they could not, well, too bad. Do you see the shadows behind them? The third bride's shadow is holding hands with the groom's shadow. They're in love, so she must be his chosen one. After they answered the riddle correctly, a door appeared in front of them. They got into the next room, which was a library. 3 books fell from a bookcase in front of their feet. Then they heard the butler's voice echoing, "You have to open one of these books, but choose wisely, because whatever creature the book mentions, it will appear here." If Gemma and Andy opened the first book, a venomous basilisk would come out. If they opened the second book, a giant piranha monster with razor-sharp teeth would appear in the library. If they opened the third book, a fire-breathing dragon would charge at them. Which book should they choose? Since the giant piranha is a water creature, it can't survive on land, so the guys should choose the second book. The library door opened, and they walked into the next room. It turned out to be a dining room. A large mirror covered one of its walls, yet the reflection of the room in the mirror had some differences from the real room. Can you spot them? The reflection of the deer statue in the mirror has more antlers. In the reflection, you can see someone hiding behind the curtains. But there's no one besides Gemma and Andy in the room. And lastly, in the mirror, one of the plates on the table is different from the others. But in the real dining room, all the plates are the same. Gemma and Andy felt very hungry. Thankfully, the next door that opened led them to the kitchen. There were 3 different chefs inside. The first chef was a zombie, the second one was a vampire, and the third chef was human. Each of them was holding a pie in their hands, but only one pie was safe to eat. Which one? Do you see the bugs coming out of the zombie chef's pie? Yikes! The pie that the human chef is holding is glowing in a weird way. Looks dangerous to me. So, they should choose the vampire chef's pie. Because that's not blood, that's cherry sauce on top. If it was blood, the vampire would have already eaten that. After they answered the riddle, 2 doors appeared in front of them. One of them had Gemma's name on it, and the other had Andy's. The butler sneaked behind the guys and pushed Gemma through the Gemma door, and Andy through the Andy door. Gemma fell down a pit and found herself in a mysterious garden. She accidentally woke a garden gnome who had been sleeping. He got very angry with her, and still, he agreed to let Gemma go if she answered his question correctly. He showed Gemma 3 tiny mushroom houses and asked which one was his home. Can you figure it out? Do you see the flower on the gnome's hat? The door handle of the second mushroom house handle is the same flower, so that must be his home. Andy, on the other hand, fell into a magical dungeon. The dungeon guard was an ogre, and he looked very pleased to finally have a prisoner. Yet he agreed to let Andy go if the guy chose the correct magical portal to escape. 2 magical portals appeared in front of him. Each of them led to a room. Andy had to stay inside the room of his choice for 5 minutes. The first room was full of poisonous gas that would knock him out in 4 minutes, and the second room was filled with water. If Andy opted for this room, he would have to be chained to the floor with the water rising really fast. In which room can the guy survive? Andy should choose the first room. He should take a breath and try not to breathe for a minute. After that, he'll have to wait for 4 minutes for the door to open, and then he can escape. Both Gemma and Andy were magically transported to the hallway after having answered their riddles correctly. They were happy to be together again. At the end of the hallway, there was a door, and in front of the door, a witch stood. She placed 3 long magic wands on the table in front of her and said,
You do not need to do anything to one of these wands. One you must break in half, and one needs to be even shorter than that half.
The witch added that they could only answer once, and if their answer was wrong, she wouldn't open the door. So, can you tell which wand should be the longest, which one they need to break into half, and which one needs to be the shortest? Do you see those spiders hanging from the ceiling? Since the door is shaped like a spider, they must be giving Gemma and Andy a hint. The silk thread that the first spider is hanging on is the shortest, so the first wand needs to be the shortest. The silk thread that the second spider is hanging on is the longest, which means that the second wand needs to remain as it is. And the silk thread that the third spider is hanging on is of a medium length, which means that the guys need to break the third wand in half. Eddie and Lucy decided to go camping in the forest for the weekend. However, they didn't know that it was protected by an angry spirit who didn't like intruders. He appeared in front of them and said,
You have set foot into my forest uninvited. You will not be able to leave. Forget your home. With it, you will never be reunited.
We apologize. We didn't know the forest belonged to you. Please let us out. We won't ever come back, Lucy cried. The spirit replied,
I'll show you mercy, for you are sincere. Mysteries of my forest await you. Solve them all, and you will be able to leave.
Then he magically teleported them to the deepest, darkest part of the forest and vanished out of sight. As Eddie and Lucy walked around trying to find their way out of the forest, they came upon a river. They had to cross it to continue their journey. There were 3 different bridges in front of them. Which one should they choose to move to the other side? Do you see the weird river monster hiding under the stone bridge? It looks dangerous. And the wooden bridge looks so old, it can crash at any minute. So they should choose this one. After Eddie and Lucy crossed the bridge, they saw 3 different paths in front of them. The first road led to a cave where giant hungry trolls were living. The second road led to the house of evil witches who needed human blood for a spell they were casting that would allow them to stay young forever. And the third road led to a swamp where an 8-headed snake was waiting for its prey. Which path should they follow? They should choose the third road because if you look carefully, you can see that up ahead, the road is forked too. It means that there's a fourth path they can take if they continue walking on this one, and they won't end up in the swamp after all. When they arrived at the end of the fourth path, they saw a wizard's hut. They thought he might be able to help them, but the gate was locked. When they tried to force it open, a magical quill came flying towards them from one of the windows of the hut and started writing a riddle in the air.
The only being who can let you in is my familiar Arthur the Owl. He must be sleeping on a tree at this hour. To convince him, you must bring him his favorite flower. Yet, if you cannot spot him in the next few seconds, I can't help you, and forever in this forest you'll have to wander.
Can you spot where the owl is? Look there! Eddie and Lucy managed to spot not 1, but 3 owls standing on a tree branch. Only one of them was Arthur. If they don't figure out which one of them is Arthur, they won't be able to get help from the wizard. The first owl said, "The third owl is not Arthur." The second owl said,
I am not Arthur.
and the third owl said,
I am Arthur.
However, only one of them was telling the truth, and the others were lying. Can you figure out which one is Arthur? If the first owl was Arthur, then both he and the second owl would be telling the truth. If the third owl was Arthur, then he and the first owl would be telling the truth. But only one of them is telling the truth, remember? So the second owl must be Arthur. Once Eddie and Lucy figured out which one was Arthur, the remaining owls flew away. Then Lucy asked him what his favorite flower was. Arthur answered with a riddle.
I can grow very tall. I am of the color yellow. When I am young, I follow the closest star in the sky. Can you tell what flower I am?
Arthur's favorite flower is the sunflower. Eddie and Lucy had to bring a sunflower to Arthur for him to let them in. They asked him where they could find one, and Arthur told them that they could get it from the sunflower field that was located between the cornfield and the wheat field. When they asked which direction they should go, Arthur said this.
If you went east, took a right turn, covered some distance in that direction, then took a left turn, and finally took another left turn, which direction would you be facing? That's the direction you must go.
Can you tell what direction that is? It's north. After Eddie and Lucy had walked for some time, an angry leprechaun jumped onto them out of nowhere and knocked them out with fairy dust. They opened their eyes in a prison cell. The leprechaun said,
You stole my pot of gold and you're going to stay in this prison until you tell me where you hid it.
Eddie said, We don't know anything about your gold, but the leprechaun didn't believe him. Suddenly, Lucy saw something strange that could help them. There was another prison cell in front of them with 3 different prisoners. Lucy noticed that one of them was going to try to escape. She suggested making a deal with the leprechaun. She said, I will tell you which prisoner is planning to escape if you let us go. He's probably the one who stole your gold, and I promise we'll help you find it once you free us. The leprechaun agreed to the terms. Take a look at these 3 prisoners. Can you tell who's trying to escape? It's the 3rd prisoner. He has a map sticking out of his pocket. He must be up to something. The leprechaun took the map from that prisoner and let Lucy and Eddie go. He said,
But now you have to help me find my pot of gold.
Lucy noticed a couple of notes at the back of the escape map. The first one said, Find the pot o' gold in the fields o' gold. What do you think that means? Remember what Arthur said? He informed Lucy and Eddie about 3 different fields, sunflower, corn, and wheat. These three things are all yellow or golden. It could only mean that the leprechaun's pot of gold is in one of these fields. The road from the leprechaun's prison to the fields was foggy. They lost their way and arrived at part of the forest that even the leprechaun didn't even know about. Eddie immediately noticed three unusual things. Can you spot them? Even though it's still daytime, the place is dark. The mushrooms on the ground are actually tiny houses. And finally, one of the butterflies flying there in the distance is no butterfly at all. It's a fairy. As soon as Eddie spotted the fairy, it flew next to them and said,
The fairy mother wanted me to bring everyone food, but when I asked what she wanted, she only said this. Remove the outside, cook the inside, eat the outside, and throw away the inside. What I want is what this is. But I don't know what that means. Can you help me, please? Do you know the answer?
It's a corn on the cob. The fairy thanked them for helping her. Lucy then told her that they were actually on their way to the sunflower, corn, and wheat fields, but they had lost their way. The fairy told them she was going there to get the corn on the cob or two. They all followed her and arrived at the fields. After the fairy got her corn, she asked them what they were looking for. The leprechaun said,
We're looking for my pot of gold.
The fairy told them that there was a maze in all three fields. At the center of each maze, there was a pot of gold, but only one pot had real gold in it, and the others were fake. The real one was in the maze that had the shortest way from start to center. Can you tell which one that is? It's the sunflower maze. The leprechaun, happy to get his gold back, bid farewell to Eddie and Lucy.
That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the bright side.